I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
It's been quiet in my mind, now I'm paranoid. It's just a matter of time before it's making noise. It's like an hourglass I can't turn over, and when it's out it comes down like a mortar.
Let's get right into it. The new album, Prepare for Despair. It's officially out now. Very exciting. Now, let's talk about the title of the album, Prepare for Despair. Yeah. Little ominous, dark, brooding. Is that the theme for this album for you guys?
Kind of. It's like the songs were a collection of a bunch of bullcrap that was the last like two years and some change. Mm-hmm. So it was like a name that Andy, our guitar player, came up with, and it was like, oh, that's it. It was like, it was really sick. But like, it really does, like, each song is like, we took so long writing it that like each song could be a different like few month period where like something was happening. You know what I mean? So yeah, a little ominous, but the album it's like a little bit of chaos. There is some disparity in some of the lyrical content, just it was just more of a sign of the times, mm-hmm. And some heaviness and some. And then, you know, we close off the album with Dark Days, which is putting it all behind me, which was a methodical move. Yeah, that's pretty much what it means. But yeah, I mean, we started writing this like maybe mid 2021, but it's been a long time coming.
Was it always original to take it that long, or was it kind of just because of the state of the world we were living in, and then you guys found yourself taking longer in putting this album together and writing it?
It was really tough to find time to allot for an entire album when either we were touring or I was home producing other artists. It was tough to like really set that time aside and give the label like 8 new songs or something. We just didn't have the time. So what I could do is say like, yeah, here's 1 song, here's 2 songs, whatever. And then it wasn't until the label was like, okay, like, now is the time. We need an album from you guys, that we brought on our buddy Kyle Black, who's another producer, who is awesome. That like basically like it was still a lot of work, but boy, did that take off so much of the workload. And I got to be like on the other side of the glass, right? As an artist, and I got to just like really focus on being creative, and that was part of it. And we wrote this album at the house. In my friend's studio. We went to Lake Tahoe and did a riding trip in a cabin in the snow. We went to Switzerland and like wrote some songs in Switzerland because we were already out there for a slam dunk festival. And so we just stayed out in Europe and rode in the mountains, and that was crazy. And we just really tried to like figure out who we were and like what the album sound was. As fans of music, we know that the sophomore album of your favorite band is a very big deal. Mm-hmm. And so we were very scared and we took our damn time to make sure that it was as flawless as we could make it. Even if it has some blemishes, we did our absolute best.
I'm glad you brought that up because I bring this up with a lot of bands, whether it's your freshman album or your 18th album, especially that sophomore one. And I wanted to talk to you about that because the second studio album from you feel a little more mature, maybe a little more confident going to the studio, but you also have those sophomore album jitters. Obviously, that played into the effect of this album after what you just told me there.
Yeah, jitters is an understatement. It was like the whole career was riding on, the whole band was riding on this. I mean, literally, that's what it felt like.
Now, with that being said, your trip to the mountains, riding in Tahoe, Switzerland, all over the place. I do also want to talk about the album artwork, which is very reminiscent of Dookie. Is kind of the vibe I got there. Tell us about that, because it's really cool and kind of fits the theme, and I really enjoy that. Tell us about the
thanks, man. It's absolutely inspired by Dookie, and I love it's also like there's Easter eggs, so you can look at it for like 10 minutes and just like keep finding stuff. And it's like I Spy. It's like Where's Waldo? It's it's just so cool. And the second I saw the first sketch of it, I was like, dude, this is iconic. It is just like the coolest. And then the point north kind of looks like skywriting. And then Andy was like, oh, that's it. It's supposed to be skywriting. And then so I don't know, like it's perfect.
And it's nice to have that guy because that's the first thing you see. And you're going to notice this when you're looking through the stack of CDs. That one stands out from Point North. You got a favorite track on the album? One that maybe stands out to you?
Dark Days is always like a special one for me. And I just like love the story behind it. Like I wrote that in a Target. I literally like was driving to Target with my wife. You know, we were in the freaking home decor section as one does at Target. And I was like, oh, I have this like idea for a song, and knew right away it was Dark Days because I love alliteration. I love wordplay like that. It was like, yeah, like, and so I was like, I'm done with these dark and I knew it was going to be like this simple rhythm, done with these dark days. And I was like, I don't care what the next thing is. I think I'm putting them behind me. And then that was all I had at Target. And then when I got home, I like, you know, got on the computer and kind of made it all put together. And I was like, I think this is sick. And then it was kind of like the B section of the chorus was, yeah, I don't want you to worry that I'm lost on my own journey. It was like, I'm good. And it was kind of like a really nice sentiment for me. Like it was like something I needed for me, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the more genuine like songs on the album. I mean, they're all genuine, but that's the one that like means a lot to me. And then the other one in the same vein is Psycho. And Psycho, I wrote it with my friend Bruce, and it was like literally about like a very specific incident. Mm-hmm. I've had my run-ins with like really bad panic attacks, and I've had my run-ins with bad anxiety and stuff. So my wife and I were doing like a New Year's trip. We're doing a staycation in Topanga Canyon. And like, I don't know if it was me being in a small Airstream or what it was, it being remote in the mountains with no service. Like I just had a meltdown like one night for no reason. I just comes out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden it goes in my stomach, and then like I can't breathe and I start throwing up, and then it's like this horrible thing. So Psycho is literally like my apology letter to my wife, like from that night.
Well, we can't wait to hear more, and it's cool to hear your personal take on these tracks. Obviously, all of them are very personal, but finding those ones that are really special to you.
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.
I need new music.
This is the JJO Discover New Music Podcast.
I've been getting bad news all night. Swimming in the same place with the front try. You never get a chance to rewind. You say that you can, but don't need an antidote.
Now, before we get to rapid fire, I did want to talk about the music video for Safe and Sound, which, by the way, for everyone who doesn't know, that features Jonathan Vigil of The Ghost Inside. Very cool mix you guys did with him. And most people would say, John, that making a music video on ice skates and full hockey gear probably isn't the safest idea. Tell us about that experience, man, because it's a very unique music video you guys did for that one.
I'm glad to hear you thought it was unique, because that's what we wanted, dude. I think maybe the extra skaters, including Vigil and myself, were the only ones that knew how to skate. The camera guy, the DP, my bands, no one knew how to skate. There was like, we posted a blooper reel. It's like, it was nowhere near the amount of time, like footage that we probably have of people just falling. It was so funny, dude. But like, so like me and Vigil both grew up and were raised in El Segundo, which is a town right by Los Angeles Airport. And I would go to his band shows when I was like freaking 15 years old. Like, so I've been like a diehard long-term Ghost Inside fan ever since their first album, and even before when they were a dying dream.
Right.
So as soon as this dude was on it, I heard the breakdown, and it was just like, duh, like, of course that's a hockey fight. Cause look, we had this, I don't want to say like an epiphany, but this, I guess like realization of like, dude, we don't like the idea of taking ourselves too seriously. We think like being like fun and funny is better than trying to act cool and like freaking mystic. So we like, we were like, let's just do a hockey game and we can all just eat shit and like beat the crap out of each other. And that would be something that people will at least like remember, as opposed to being like just dudes playing our instruments, like you say, like that typical band promo stuff.
Right.
So yeah, Jonathan Vigil is a very big hockey player, hockey fan, as am I. I don't play in my adult life because I live in the studio here. I never leave. But and I know John toured for a while and stuff too, and he had obviously his injuries from the crash, so he probably took some time off. But I was like, dude, it was more selfish. I just wanted to play hockey with Vigil. And
my daughter came in. Sorry about that.
It's all good. I just wanted to play hockey with Vigil. So I was like, maybe this is an excuse, and we'll just film it and make it a music video.
Yeah,
and then,
there you go.
so I hop on the skates, and it'd been 10 years since I skated, like legit 10 years. But I played hockey my entire childhood life through high school. And then as I went to audio school after the fact, I kind of fell off. But it was like riding the bike. I was like freaking skating circles around dudes, and it was awesome. And I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. It was just so funny watching our director Chris like with the camera, and someone else is like pulling his belt.
That
and
expensive piece of equipment that he's holding on to, just
yeah. And they hung lights in like the rafters, and then like that whole like fake scoreboard thing, like I just made in like freaking After Effects or whatever, like, and so there was no jumbotron. It was it's all a joke, and it's just and like, but it's awesome, and I just was so happy to make a video that was memorable, fun to make, because at the end of the day, like we just think that like no one cares about music videos like as much as they used to, at least. Like there's no VH1 anymore, like and unless you're spending like $200,000 on a video or something like that, it's like, we're on an independent label budget, so we're just like, let's just have fun with it and just do something that's kind of where we were at with Nice Now too. I don't know if you've ever seen that video, but that's just like a goofy video, and like we just like try to have fun, because at the end of the day, as soon as this starts to feel like work or it's like it's too serious and we can't just like laugh at ourselves or laugh at anything. We're just humorous dudes. We just like to do goofy shit. Well, I'm glad that worked out.
It turned out great, and if anyone hasn't seen it yet, you can find it all over the place. It's awesome, and like I said, just a cool take on that. Yeah, not the typical leather jackets in front of the camera making sexy faces. You get your face punched in, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. I get my ass beat.
Yeah, that's right. Well, again, everyone, Point North, the new album Prepare for Despair, is out now. Go check it out. Keep listening. Go see him on the road, because you guys are out and about, of course, promoting this latest album, and that's good news for everybody. Before I let you go here, John, let's do rapid fire. I do this with everyone. This is a way for us to get to know you. There's no wrong answers. You just go with your gut, okay?
Go with the gut.
Let's start with some hockey ones, because I did read that you are a Kings fan. So first, let's start with this, since you're a hockey buff. What's better? Okay. A shootout or a goalie fight?
Shootout.
Shootout. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's better? D2, the Mighty Ducks, or the original Mighty Ducks?
The original Mighty Ducks, no question.
That's a good one. Everybody Wang Chung or everybody was Kung Fu Fighting?
Everybody was Kung Fu Fighting.
Flintstone Push Pop or Choco Taco?
Choco Taco. Soaked
jeans or damp socks?
Damp socks.
Man, I think you're the first one to say damp socks. That's wild. That's the first one. Would you rather see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster? But wait, actually, you're California, so let's change it to El Chupacabra. I think that's more your area. Yeah.
So Bigfoot or Chupacabra, or Loch Ness and Chupacabra?
Do Bigfoot or El Chupacabra.
Probably Chupacabra. That sounds awesome. I like mythical lore like that. Yeah, so that's like dark side.
That's not a fun mythical creature. He's a mean one.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
One duck-sized horse. Is that what you said?
Or one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
One horse-sized duck.
All right. Now, how are you going to defend yourself against a giant duck like that?
I would befriend it so fast. Oh my God. I'm such an animal guy. So I would just I would be riding that thing. I'd be the first person to fly on the duck. I'd be like a dragon rider.
Bro,
Game of Thrones.
A full loaf of bread at him.
Yeah.
Be your friend, and you're all set to go.
I'm gonna need a lot of freaking dough. Yeah.
You brought up Game of Thrones. I don't think I saw the horse-sized duck flying through the air along with the dragon. So yeah, that's the next book. That's the next book.
That's the next book. Yeah. That's the better ending.
John, thank you for humoring me. More importantly, thank you for taking the time and talking new music again. Point North, Prepare for Despair, out now. Can't wait to hear more from you, man. Thank you so much for
Check it out, dude. Thank you so much for having me, man. This was great.
I've been getting bad news all night. Swimming in this
Listen, rate, share, subscribe. Discover new music now at WJJO.com, in the JJO app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Rock has a new interview every Thursday evening between 6 and 7. 94.1 JJO.